Hi, this is Emonews, and today we have with us Miss Shernelle Robinson.
Hi everyone, I am Shernelle Robinson from the community of Louisville.
So it's the anniversary of Hurricane Maria, 5 years. I know you experienced Maria and you have a story that you never told anyone. Can you tell us what happened the night of Maria? Yeah.
So one of the first things I remember about Hurricane Maria was earlier in the evening, before anything happened, I decided that I had a 3-month-old son, so I was going to pack an emergency bag. And my mom asked me, why are you packing a bag? Where are you going? So I told her, I have a baby. A hurricane is coming. At the time, it was my first time experiencing a full-blown hurricane, even worse with a 3-month-old. So I remember packing his bag, packing his suitcase, his birth certificate, my passport, his passport. I just wanted to be prepared for anything. I just have to say that it's a good thing I decided to. So, the day progressed and nightfall came and the electricity had gone. Rain started falling, pounding, and it started getting scary. At that point, I placed my son on a bed in the bedroom because it was hot. And you have a 3-month-old, rain, darkness, he sweat a lot. He was asleep. And I remember hearing rain and water. You would swear to say that we were next to the river. And the river is a few miles away from our home. My dad called me from the room to help him to hold the front door together because the wind was really pushing the door in. So I was there trying to help my dad, keep the door up. And I remember just hearing a loud sound. To date, I cannot even describe the sound because it was just something that I heard for the first time in my life. So I remember thinking, the baby. So I ran back to the back of the house where the baby was in the room and I couldn't move. My mom came running, what's going on, what's going on? I couldn't say anything. I couldn't move. She froze because at that point, a mountain, a landslide, a cliff, whatever you want to call it, was right next to my 3-month-old. The landslide came in through the window next to him. It came in through a back door next to him, and I was in shock. A young mother, at the time I was 18. A young mom, I didn't know what to do, and I remember shaking my mother. Go for my baby, go for my baby. And she was as shocked as I was. Eventually, she snapped out of it and she ran, she grabbed him. And the funny thing about it is that child was still fast asleep. Untouched by the landslide, fast asleep. Innocent baby. She ran, she grabbed him, she brought him to me. Then I remember she started, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord, our Father. And I remember telling her, Mommy, the Lord our God cannot do anything for us right now. Put yourself together, hold on to the baby, we need to get out of here. So my father was thinking, the wind coming in through the front door, we have a landslide in our house, it's the middle of the hurricane, but we need to get out of the house. Now, my house is on pillars. We live in Louisville on pillars. We don't have a downstairs. The only thing we had downstairs at the time was a Jeep. So I was thinking, in the middle of the hurricane, where are we going with the baby? My father said, we need to get out of the house because the roof might go. I said, okay, you know what? I guess my parents, I need to listen to them. They decided that we were going to pass through another back door to go downstairs to go in the vehicle. So at that point, I remembered the emergency bag that I packed for that baby that earlier in the afternoon, my mom asked me where I was going with it. I ran, grabbed that bag. My niece at the time was 5 or 6, she lived with us. I had to leave my 3-month-old baby upstairs during the hurricane to bring those emergency bags downstairs in a vehicle. Anyway, brought them down when it was time to bring the baby and everybody trying to move to the vehicle because my father was afraid that, the house would cave in, the roof would go. Time to go downstairs with the baby. I remember wrapping that little boy so tight in a blanket and thinking, Lord, you protected him once, although I told my mother that you cannot help us, but I know to myself I'm lying because you're the only reason why my child is alive. We decided, okay, we're going to go downstairs. When attempted to go down the steps, the wind almost took the baby. At that point, I was hysterical. I was crying. I was screaming. I just thought that I was going to lose that little boy. But again, all I can say is God. We got downstairs, got into the vehicle, and we stayed there for, I remember it was about 9 or 10 p.m. when we went downstairs. We stayed in that vehicle until daybreak. Day broke and, it was time to see what had happened. Our house was surrounded by a cliff. And my mother told me, come a while, Shernelle, come and see that. Mommy, what happened? The hurricane just passed, what happened? She said, you remember last night during the hurricane, you told me our father cannot help us? Look around. The only person that saved us that night, was our Father God in heaven. We cleaned up our house, we tried to, but for me, it was too much. I felt like I could not remain in Dominica with a 3-month-old after a Category 5 hurricane. So I decided I had to get out. Well, Shernelle, where are you going? A hurricane just ravaged the country. You have no money, banks are closed, everywhere is closed. Where are you going with a 3-month-old? In my mind, I didn't know. I just knew that I had to get out because I couldn't remain in those conditions with my child. So I ended up filling out a form at the final and in Roseau. And a few days later, they told us that a Navy boat from Barbados would take us from Dominica to Barbados. I thought, oh well, I traveled on a boat before. It shouldn't be that bad. At least nothing happened to Barbados. I'll go with the baby. Packed my stuff, what I could save, packed the baby stuff, what I could save, and headed to the port. Only to find out it wasn't anything like a ferry. It was a Navy boat. Luckily, because I had a baby, I was able to get a little bed. I cannot even say it was a bed. It was the bottom bunk of a bed, but at least I got that to remain with the baby. It took me 24 hours to get to Barbados. Going to Barbados, Shernelle, do you know anyone in Barbados? No, I do not, but I am going to Barbados with the baby. Thank God it was a time after Maria where I guess people felt sorry for us. That is the only way I can put it. Strangers felt sorry for us. I ended up spending the night with a young lady. I did not know her. From Adam to Eve to Steve, I did not know her. She offered us her 1-bedroom apartment for the night. She slept on the couch. She gave me her bed for myself and the baby. The next morning, she got a ride because she didn't own a vehicle. She got a ride and she took me to the airport. I decided, you know what? Heading to America. Heading to America. We're just looking for greener pastures for myself and the baby. I got a ticket, I think, for later that day. Got to America and again, so after Maria, people feel sorry for you. So the process getting from Barbados to Miami wasn't really that difficult. It wasn't, went for immigration again, like I said, people felt sorry for us. And so someone else felt sorry for me where I was able to shack up with that baby for 5 months post Maria. All I have to say about Hurricane Maria is that today I have a healthy, bouncing, intelligent, handsome 5-year-old. And I am grateful for everyone who has helped myself or my family one way or the other after the passing of Hurricane Maria. And I pray to God that we never have to go through anything like this again. Thank you. To date, 5 years later, we still live in the same house. Although sometimes, whenever the rain falls a little heavier than usual, we tend to get a bit scared, a bit nervous, but we still live in the same house.
What advice would you give to citizens, especially when there is a hurricane and there's an announcement for a hurricane? I know you made your preparation, you packed your bag. What else can you tell the citizens of Dominica in preparation for this hurricane season?
The only other thing that I can say, or other than you buy your groceries, you pack your emergency bags, pray. Pray, and please keep in contact with your friends and family members abroad, because you never know when they might be the ones to quote unquote survey us after emergency.